Hi everyone, I'm Tabitha, and today we're talking about books. Normally around here, I talk about writing books. Today we're talking about one of my favorite things to do, reading them. Because you can actually learn a lot about other writing styles or writing tips by reading books. So today we're going to look at a couple of my favorite and talk about what you can learn when you read them. Let's start with one of my favorite middle grade books, Among the Hidden by Margaret Peterson Haddix. This book is actually the first book in a series of books, and that's one of the reasons why I recommend it. If you're writing a series for middle grade or young adults, and you want the first book to have a satisfying ending, but still leave us with enough questions that we'd be interested in reading book 2, this book is a great way to learn that from. The ending is awesome and keeps you thinking, and it would be okay as a standalone book. But that doesn't mean I wasn't excited when I found out there were more. The other thing you can learn from this book is how to tackle tough topics like politics and maybe even death with middle grade books without being scary and overwhelming. This one, highly recommended. Let's look at one of my personal favorite young adult books, Croak by Gina D'Amico. This is also the first book in a series and also does a good job of giving you a satisfying ending to the first book, but keeping you interested in the others. But the reason why I recommend this one, and one of the things I think you can learn the most from this, is how to capture an authentic young adult voice, even though you're an adult writing the book. The voice that Gina uses in this book is unbelievable. She does a great job of capturing the sass and the attitude of our main character, but also her self-doubt and her insecurities. It's a great book to capture voice of young adults and highly recommended. Let's stick in the realm of young adult for a minute for my third recommended book. This one is going to take a really tough topic that you know it's important to talk about with young adults, but that you don't necessarily feel comfortable with. And if that sounds like something you might need to learn, check out Mercy Rule by one of my favorites, Tom Levine. This book definitely takes an important topic in the news and in our lives right now and brings it to the forefront of a story for young adults. Not only that, the other thing you can learn from this book and from Tom Levine is how to really nail writing in multiple point of views. Tom does a great job of keeping all of the point of views separate enough that they each have their own voice, but they all add something to the story. So check out this one to learn how to tackle a tough topic or how to write in multiple point of views. This one happens to be for young adults. Speaking of multiple point of views, let me introduce my fourth recommended book, and the first one that I've talked about so far that is recommended for adult readers. Jodi Picoult's The Storyteller. Like some of the other books I've talked about, this book is going to tackle a tough topic. In fact, Jodi Picoult is famous for this. She loves to write about a controversial issue and throw you right in the middle of it and make you question how you really feel about it. She also is a master of telling stories with multiple point of views. Just like Tom Levine, Jodi Picoult is capable of bringing in each different character with a voice of their own that makes them feel unique, and they all add something to the story. Highly recommend this book, especially if you're looking for more tips on how to write multiple point of views. Okay, we've already talked about multiple point of views. Let's talk about interesting narrators. For my fifth recommendation, The Book Thief by Marcus Zusak. The Book Thief is narrated not by a main character, but actually by death. That's right. It also brings in historical elements and aspects, and all around is a story that's going to make you really feel something. So if you're looking for how to connect a historical event to emotion, I'd recommend this one. If you're looking to narrate your story by an interesting narrator, I would also recommend this one. Technically, I do believe this one qualifies as young adult. Maybe you're looking at having an interesting narrator, but you're wondering how that would work for adults. Well, let me introduce you to my sixth recommendation, The Magic Strings of Frankie Presto by Mitch Albom. This book uses a fictional character, but he meets a lot of actual historical figures. But the cool part about this book, and the reason I recommend it, is because it's narrated by music. That's right, Mitch Albom brings music in as an actual character and uses him to tell the story of Frankie Presto's life. It's a highly entertaining story, but it's also a great way to learn how to use that unconventional narrator to bring your story to a new level. All right, for my seventh recommendation, let's talk bad guys. If you're going to be writing a good story, a lot of times that's going to involve having a good villain. So for my seventh recommendation, we want to look at a villain who's scary, realistic, and yet totally believable. Mr. Mercedes by Stephen King. The bad guy, the villain in the story, is introduced really early on. And you spend the rest of the book knowing something your main character doesn't. You know who he is right from the beginning. It gives us an interesting connection to our bad guy. If you're looking to make a bad guy feel real and yet somehow relatable and almost scarier because of how real he is, I highly recommend Mr. Mercedes by Stephen King. All right, now if you know me at all, you're shocked that I made it this far on my list without including this next author. So for my 8th and final book, let's dive into one of my favorites, Roses Are Red by James Patterson. Now, if you're not a James Patterson fan, I'm going to assume it's probably because you're not a fan of the stuff he writes with co-writers. Try an Alex Cross book. Just try one before you judge. Alex Cross books are never written with co-writers. James writes them all himself. This book, Roses Are Red, is my personal favorite in the Alex Cross series. So if you're going to try just one, I highly recommend this one. So what can we learn from it? First of all, Alex himself as a main character is awesome. He's a character you can relate to and you instantly like, which is something some of you might want to learn, how to make a character we instantly like. But the reason why I recommend this one is actually for the bad guy. Even if this is the only Alex Cross book you've ever read, you catch on pretty quick to the fact that we're going to be shocked by who this bad guy is. This is a seriously bad dude, and we don't know who he is. So you go through this entire book playing along with Alex and trying to find out who it is. I will tell you that this book is immediately followed by a book called Violets Are Blue. And by the time you get to this final page, you may want to have Violets Are Blue handy to just keep going. The two books run together really well. So check this one out for finding out about a main character that you instantly like, and also for how to surprise your fans when they realize just how bad your bad guy is and they really want to find out who it is. Okay, that's it for me and my books that I think you can learn something from to make you a better writer. Drop a comment if you picked up even one thing that you're interested in reading today or you're interested in trying today. You know, if I can do even one thing to help you, then I know I've done what I meant to do. So let me know what I can do to help. Hit that subscribe button so you know when I'm back. Keep plotting the path to your dreams, and I'll see you next week. Bye.